Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.
Another episode of Trash Talk. I'm Damion Hill. With me, as always, is TJ O'Connor. You guys didn't hear any. I said TJ. So anyway, TJ O'Connor is with me. Trash Talk is brought to you again by Valhalla Combat Sports, Spartan Martial Arts, Ink Shrinks Tattoo out of New Brighton, Minnesota, James Clark Sports Psychology and Hypnosis Therapy, The Fighters, TJ's mom, and did I say Origin Wellness?
No,
CBD?
Origin Wellness CBD.
There we go. I felt like I forgot one because like we got this stuff down now, TJ, dude. I feel like
Yeah.
Did you hear me when I said that?
Yeah, no, yeah,
Okay, my bad. It seemed like it was on. Okay. So anyhow, like, dude, what's been on my mind today is just like how great of a time it is to be a fight fan and to be born just alive, I guess, but like how blessed I was to, or I guess we were to be born the years that we were, because I think right around middle school is when the UFC was like getting like its steam. And then we were blessed being able to, I don't know, at that age where Spike TV was being sold to fucking douchebag teenage boys just like us, like right away. And that's where the fighting was. That's where everything was. The Ultimate Fighter, all of that stuff, dude. And then now, like years and years later, being able to appreciate it a whole lot more because it's like we've seen it like flourish in front of our eyes. And then now seeing the guys that were fighting transitioning over into other aspects of the game and stuff, you know. And dude, I fuck, dude, like this is just a great time to be a fight fan. And then especially like locally too, dude, like we're watching all of the guys that were inspired by all of the guys that we were inspired by. And oh dude, and a lot of them are turning into killers. Like I don't know, there's this thing about like I dated this girl that was she was like going to school for like child development and shit, like she was going to be a teacher, like daycare runner or whatever, like that. We broke up, and obviously you can kind of tell why I never paid attention to shit she said. But anyhow, one of the things I did pay attention to was the fact that kids with older siblings are way more daring, you know, and way more willing to do stuff because they don't look at it as like, I'm 2 or 3 years old, I shouldn't be doing that. They look at like their brother's 7 and can ride a bike. I want to do what my brother does. So like they pick up things a whole lot faster. You know, like monkey bars is like, I guess, one of the best examples. I don't know if that's like the best example, but like she brought that up, and kids who have older siblings will learn how to do the monkey bars a whole lot sooner than kids that don't, for whatever reason. I don't know the science behind it. Don't get me to try to explain it. But like, I feel like the point that we're at with the fighters that are fighting right now, the fighters that we've seen on the Ultimate Fighter, we've seen make it to their titles and stuff like that, those were the older siblings. We were inspired by them, so we jumped at it a whole lot earlier, and now you see that in the performances and stuff that you get from the local talent. You never seen on the scene as much talent as you do nowadays, dude. It's fucking crazy. I hope all of that came through.
Oh yeah, it all came through. There was a couple times where we slightly broke up, but I feel like your point was definitely made, and I feel like you're exactly right. It's a beautiful time that we were able to experience this, to where we started when we were essentially kids at this point, and now, you know, we come there and we're still young, but you know, we've been doing this so long. Like you said, we've seen fighters come and go at the highest levels, to the point where it's like, oh, I remember when that guy made his first fight, and now he's retired doing the commentary and stuff like that. And you know, but to talk on the talent on the local level, 1,000%. There's never been this type of talent at the local level. I mean, don't get me wrong. You go back throughout the years, there's definitely guys. There's guys that stand out. I mean, Dan Moret was like 16-0 as an amateur. John Castaneda murked everybody. There were so many good guys that came through, but I feel like right now the talent is where it's at. I mean, you go to the Trash Talk rankings, 1 through 5 at any weight class. You put those guys in a cage, who knows what fucking happens? You know what I mean? Trying to rank those guys, it's ridiculous because the level of talent is so high at this point.
I didn't hear that last part that you said. I'm sorry, it cut out for a second. What'd you say?
Oh no, I just finished with saying ranking these guys, like especially 1 through 5 at these weight classes, is so difficult because anything can happen if you put these guys in a cage at any point.
Oh yeah, yeah, dude. And I mean, and then now we see like all of the guys that are doing all this stuff, like willing to get the experience as an amateur, which is crazy because we didn't used to see that, dude. We used to getting. I mean, all we used to see is guys getting 4 and 5 fights and then going pro. You know, I think like a lot of these guys are taking the time as an amateur, and I feel like there's a lot of guys at the amateur level that have pro level talent, and then once they go pro, it's like it's this slingshot effect that I like to call it. So it's like imagine I'm holding a slingshot, I pull it back as far as it can go, and I hold it back or whatever, and then each fight, just imagine each fight is just one more notch being pulled back or whatever, right? And then once you let go is once you're pro. Yeah. And you just fucking take off. Like everybody that's been a pro before, he's like, who the fuck is this guy? Where did he come from? You know, and I feel like we're seeing it as soon as guys like start making their pro debut right now. We've seen it already. I mean, I guess Sean McPadden is probably one of the better examples. Man, dude, like I'm trying to think off the top of my head more examples. You guys, like, I'm sorry, I know there's more of you guys out there. I'm high.
No, definitely, and like what you said, I love the way that the fighters are going about this now. You don't see, I mean, you do see where guys will have 1, 2 amateur fights and then they look at going pro, but for the most part, most circumstances, these guys are looking for all the fights they can get. They're looking for all the competition they can get, and I mean, obviously, we owe that to the fighters becoming more smarter, but you have to tip your cap to the level of coaching that has improved around the state. I mean, there used to be 1 or 2 gyms, and that's where you had to go if you wanted to, go to the top gym. I mean, there's so many great gyms now, and like, I mean, even whether they're the big gyms or the smaller gyms, the level of coaching has improved so much, and you're seeing that through the fighters, and you're seeing that through the performances. So when these guys are willing to fight each other, not a lot of these guys are looking to pad their records. They all want the tough fights. We get to talk to these guys on and off camera. I tell you this, if these guys want the top fights. There's no one that doesn't want to fight the best guys. So whether it happens, I mean, we know the politics of the game, but talking to these guys, seeing their intentions, they definitely have it figured out.
Yeah. Well, you were saying the level of coaching is improved as well too, and I'm like, this isn't something I'm saying that is needed to be a good coach, because I've had great coaches that have not necessarily fought, but competed in the art that they're teaching at the very least or whatever, But one of the things that I think I think is a correlation to what you just said, the combination of the coaching being getting better. A lot of these coaches, like a lot of these black belt jiu-jitsu coaches, have fights under their belt, like they've seen it firsthand. How do I apply this art into a fight that allows this? Like the rules are different and things like that. And I'm not saying like other coaches that haven't fought like can't teach the transitions and stuff like that. You're in the sport, you're in the gym, you're training with guys that have all done this, and you're in the corner most of the fucking time. You see it firsthand. So it's just, but that's just one of the things. Like I feel like that has an effect on it. Almost trying to think of a coach that I know right now that hasn't competed themselves. Like I've had coaches that didn't necessarily like fight MMA or whatever, and most of them were my boxing coaches. But a lot of the jiu-jitsu coaches have competed in MMA, and the ones that haven't have, I think, because they've opened their mind to the gi and the whole philosophy of jiu-jitsu, like some of them have opened up their mind to the fact that, hey, punches change things. We should change things for that, and it's great.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, obviously, and at the end of the day, fighting isn't for everybody. So you'll see some of these coaches where they'll have just a couple fights, and then that's ultimately transitions into best coaches. Sometimes it's not the best fighters that are going to become the best coaches, but just having that experience competing, like you said, whether it's competing in boxing, kickboxing matches, MMA, just having that experience and that feeling, just that pit in your stomach, and that it's like, I gotta go fight a guy. It's almost, we compare it to anything else. It's just like how many basketball coaches do you see that never played basketball? How many football coaches do you see that never played football? It's just, I mean, even at some level, just to get a basic understanding, because as a coach and as a player, it's two different perspectives. But to do one and then do the
Yeah.
other, you get to see the game so much more clearly. And you get to hear that when we talk to guys that have transitioned from their fighting more into the coaching roles. And a couple guys are coming out of the top of my head, but I don't want to name anybody because there's so many of them. But they transition from the fighter to the coach, and they talk about how it opens up a completely different world. So just to think of being just the coach without that other experience as well, I'd feel like it's almost two-dimensional in a three-dimensional world.
I like the way you put that. Oh man, dude. Oh, like I don't even know kind of how we even got on coaching and stuff. Like
No idea.
people have asked me if I ever wanted to be a coach. I've always had the same answer. No. None of you motherfuckers are worth my time. Like it's not even it, and I like I mean that when I say that. Like I'm not even trying to be funny. Like I'm not worth my fucking time. Like I'm surprised that these motherfucking coaches took the time with me. I don't know. When I go to the gym, I like to get in work, and then I see certain guys that are like that I see are trying. It's like, dude, I want to come fucking like, hey, dude, like let me work with you a little bit or whatever I can put into them and help. I'm willing to do that or whatever. But I like doing that, but I don't like being the coach. Like
Yeah.
I hate trying to like run a class and stuff, and like I've tried it and stuff, and it's like I fucking hate it. And then there's that one dude. It's like when I say like wasting my time, it's like I don't expect like everybody I work with to become world champion. Like that's not what I mean about when I say waste my time. I mean somebody who's actually gonna listen to me. Like I've spent an hour and a half with a dude who's actually a good fighter on trying to get his jab right or whatever, right? And just trying to get the proper technique done and stuff. And then afterwards, like just basically tell me that no, I don't like that or whatever. I'm gonna do it this way. I'm like, okay, fine. And then I'm just like, why did you even like pretend to listen to me that whole time and shit? It's just that really pissed me off. And then after he saw firsthand that, oh, maybe my jab isn't as good as I thought or whatever. My uncle Reggie was fucking lying to me when he told me that he learned how to box. Maybe I should listen to the guy who has this professional fighting experience, Damion Hill, and change my jab. And then they come back to you or whatever. That is what really pisses me off. It's like, why didn't you listen to me the first time? Why was your fucking bullshit Uncle Reggie more right than me? You fucking, I can't be a coach. Because I wanted to beat his ass. Like, oh my God. I don't know. Did everything come through clear? Because like that was a long
80%.
rant. And I'm
80% of it.
all right. Well, it doesn't matter anyway because I feel like we've been going for a little bit, and we should kind of wrap it up. Unless you had any final thoughts.
No, I concur. You should listen to professional fighters and not your Uncle Reggie.
Like and subscribe. Trash Talk with Damion and TJ. Don't be a hoe.